All right, so it is what day is it? Thursday night. Just finished the second day of Worlds, and unfortunately the last day for me. I was not able to follow up my 5-1 performance on day one. I unfortunately went 1-5 today, which is pretty disappointing. I drafted what I thought was a pretty solid deck in M14, and just things didn't really pan out for me. I went 1-2. Lost what I think ought to have been a pretty good matchup against Ben Stark's heavy red aggro deck. I was a green black sort of big creature deck. Also lost to Shanhar playing a blue-white flyer deck with a bunch of bounce that I think was a bad matchup, but both those matches were really close. Then I beat Stanislav Sivka, who had a pretty bad blue-black deck. But the big disappointment was really Modern, where I actually went 0-3. I was playing green-white Aether Vial deck that I think was pretty reasonable for the field. It wasn't what I would have chosen to play if I had known the field would be exactly what it was. I was anticipating more pod decks, where stuff like Leonin Arbiter and Aven Mind Sensor are particularly powerful. If I had known, then the format would be vast majority of blue, white, red decks. I would have played a deck with more high impact, difficult to deal with creatures. Something actually more like the deck that I played in San Diego. It's possible that I just sort of got scared off of playing that deck because of Scavenging Ooze, because Knight of the Reliquary gets so much worse with Scavenging Ooze in the format, and it's possible I should have just played that deck without Scavenging Ooze, or without Knight of the Reliquary, much like Willie Edel did. He actually played a deck super close to the one that I played in San Diego, and I like the look of the deck a lot. And yeah, so I mean, I ended up going 0-3. I lost two really close matches to Craig Wesco playing black-white tokens. We had a couple of just super close games. He won in 3, and then lost to Ben Stark, also in 3 games. Unfortunately, ended up actually having 2 really close, really good games, and then double mulliganing in game 3, and then immediately trying to Aether Vials, which is not what you want to draw off a double mulligan. And then I was actually so frustrated that with the tiebreaker method for the tournament, because actually going into the last round, despite having the possibility of having being tied for the top 4 in with my record, I was already locked out of making top 4 because the way the new tiebreaker system that they use for this event works is that whoever got to the number of match points they had at the fastest wins the tiebreaker. That's it. So the last round actually didn't matter for anyone, pretty much, at least in terms of the standings in the tournament. At the end of round 11, the top 4 was locked and the top 8 was locked. So other than the 1 pro point for the win, the last round didn't actually matter to anyone, which is pretty lame, particularly for a tournament like this, which is about like spectacle and having cool moments and drama when you just have a round that doesn't matter. And I was kind of distracted in being annoyed by that, and actually forgot to de-sideboard from my previous match, and drew a sideboard card against Yuya in game 1 of our match, and it would have been a great card to draw because I was sideboarded against his deck, and I actually had a really good draw against him too. I had a turn 1 Aether Vial, a bunch of good creatures, along with 2 Tectonic Edges to keep him off of mana. So it would have actually there's a very good chance I would have won that game had we actually been able to play it out. And then game 2, I mulliganed and ended up keeping a hand with Aether Vial and Ghost Quarter, and never drew a colored mana source for the first 10 turns of the game and lost. So pretty disappointing end of the tournament, but overall it was a really awesome event. I was super happy with my standard deck. I really felt like I managed to figure out something for the field that was pretty much perfect. Just wish I'd done a little bit better today. So. That is unfortunately it for the World Championship for me. I'm going to be hanging out in Amsterdam for the next few days, maybe spectating the World Cup a bit, doing a bit of sightseeing, whatnot. Probably going to this electronic music festival on Saturday. So I'm sure I can find something to do with my time. But this is probably going to be my last of these video updates from this event, since I'm not really playing anymore. So hope you've enjoyed this, and let me know what you think, and what you think I should do differently if I do these things again in the future. So, thanks a lot, and I'll catch you next time.